And welcome back to NFG Podcast with Jay the Usual. This is Jay the Usual with NFG Podcast here. We were going to be live, but this is actually going to be a pre-recorded episode, so make sure to share, like, comment, subscribe so we can do a live next time. Today we have a very special, what was a secret guest up until right now. Would you mind introducing yourself to our fans here at NFG Podcast in Florida, Massachusetts?
Yes, my name is Susan Drayton. I am an artist. I write children's books and illustrate them myself. Also, I am a guest speaker. I also have a YouTube content, which is called Susan's Adventurous Path, which piggybacks off of my books, which is Worthiness and the Beauty of Naya, which focuses on gratitude and hopes. My hopes is to elevate humanity's emotions into a better positive state of being.
That is one heck of an introduction, by the way, I gotta say.
Yeah, okay.
I was actually quite impressed when I went to look at the content that you have for the general public to see, as well for people to purchase that are into you have so many different various types of media content that it instantly drew my attention because of all the different things that we've worked with on this business show, from drone piloting all the way to underwater photography. And of course the comedy interviews, meeting cool people. But I like the facilitation that we're allowed to have here at Soco Art Labs in Florida, Massachusetts, which, how long have you been coming here and doing your art?
Since they opened up, which has been, I believe, 2 months more, a little bit more than that.
This is definitely a fresh start.
Yes, so my big piece that I dove into was Surging from the Kingdom Within, which is 30 by 40 on canvas. It's an oil, and my art is, what I'm really well known for is my symbolicness of fantasy art. It's the whole point, just like I'm sure like every other artist, is to provoke emotions and to think, not to become followers. It's just to think of your own conclusion of what you think. The story is being portrayed in the brushstrokes and the mediums and the final masterpiece.
And the interpretation, I suppose, is what you're. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be different for each artist. My personal favorite thing about the art that I create and people being able to enjoy it is seeing other people's interpretations of the art. Mm-hmm. What happens to be like your favorite part of just creating art in general? Being able to create it, perhaps?
To create it and just to see people's reactions is really what makes me happy.
We are a reaction culture now.
Yes, yes. And I enjoy just to see them ponder back and forth, walk away, come back to it, and just, you can just see it in their eyes and in their facial expressions. They're conflicted, which is not a bad place. And
why do you say that?
I think it.
Some people don't like conflict nowadays, so that's why.
You need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to just be in that moment and learn to just sit with your emotions, in my opinion. Okay. And decipher and ask yourself, okay, why am I reacting this way to this image? What's going on that doesn't make me feel comfortable, or it does make me feel comfortable? Some people also know me for my anatomy. I really focus on the anatomy, the body parts and so forth, and I have some that are very erotic in some people's eyes. To me, it's normal. Do
you focus on a specific medium when you do that? Because I noticed that you have, like I said, a wide expanse of types of media, but I've also noticed that your subject matters vary, sometimes even just on one canvas.
Yes. I don't plan anything. What I do is I just sit with myself and my emotions, and I just allow myself to feel whatever it is that I'm feeling. And I may start it one way and totally, completely different, because people will ask, well, what are you creating? And I said, I don't know. I'm just going with the flow.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I just really go with the flow, not unless I'm being commissioned to do work for people, then that's different.
Something specific? Maybe?
Yeah,
Okay.
something very specific, then I'm going with my flow in a different direction. And
Do you dabble in that often? Sorry.
yes, I do. I
Yeah.
have, and I do. I do portraits. That's why I study anatomy a lot, on positions and so forth. But for some people, oh my God, it's nudity. It's like, yeah, it's universal.
It's been a running joke with some of the people that I've been trying to get either on the podcast or just talking about it, where I've said, I'm going to be a nude model, or it's like we have a cooking show with my mom, and of course I've been bothering her with it. So she sends me pictures of like a guy with his chest hair shaved in the shape of a Christmas tree. So, I mean, this is just to show you the sort of psychotic stuff that you may see on our show, but we also like to tailor our, our transfixed photographic lens of an eye towards things that are intriguing as well. Because I think that along with the interpretation of comedy and art in general, there has to be, like you said, some sort of conflict in order to fully appreciate and I think sometimes enjoy certain art mediums, or if not all, really. Almost like there's no hell without a little heaven.
Exactly. The yin and the yang.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are interested, of course, because now we're talking about mysteries unto oneself, make sure to check out all the content that we're going to list in all of these separate pages, podcasts, and stuff that we post on Facebook, YouTube, X/Twitter, whatever you call it nowadays, who knows. And every other social media type that you'd like to see us on, make sure to mention that in the comments below. We'll make sure to get those posts to you as soon as possible, in video and photos. And so we're going to go to the table that you have some of your art right now, both finished stuff and also some projects that you have in the works, including some projects maybe you'd like to mention.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, I would. So my bigger pieces now, the biggest that I have accomplished, which took me 2 months to complete, is the Surging from the Kingdom Within. And I decided with my bigger pieces is to find organizations / foundations that are contributing to people, humanity, in their need of any financial, I don't want to say stability, but to contribute to their financial needs, such as a child who's been diagnosed with cancer.
We did talk about this the other day.
Yeah, so this is my first one was Finn's Wheels of Hope. So I was able to run a whole art gallery with the help of Winston Gallery over in New Bedford, and Vic and Liz helped me a lot.
Is that a one-time fundraiser?
Yep.
Okay.
And all my pieces, a good chunk of them were sold, and I was able to hit the goal of $800.
Nice.
So, for my first time, I think that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So now I have met a wonderful soul who I didn't know that suffered from epilepsy.
Okay.
And talking with her,
It can be very difficult.
Yeah, talking to her, she brought some awareness to me that how it's not really funded a lot in order to do the research that I needed.
I was going to say the research specific.
Yeah, so with this big piece that I have, which is a 30 by 40 oil painting on canvas, I, in the works with her and some other people that are on board of hospitals, and however the group is built upon, the members is what I'm referring to. How does that be? Hoping to collaborate, that we can do a silent and a live auction come spring. And I want to auction that big piece, and the starting bid will be at $5,000.
Okay. So is this something that people can come and take a look, like as it's in the works at Soco Art Labs?
They can come into the works, right? They can come in right now and view it right now. The art piece, but the whole planning is exactly what we're doing. We're planning for that event so that.
Will that be more, sorry to pick up, but will that be more gallery pieces as well?
That's something that I wouldn't mind incorporating as well, but right now I'm just thinking of a specific piece at the moment. But if it comes that it goes beyond that, I'm open to it, because half of the proceeds will go to the foundation to help.
Oh, really? Okay, so 50%, that's actually pretty good. The interest that I have is that we actually met at a holiday event at Soco Art Labs, totally open to the public. We had quite a few people come in and visit, and it was really a quick notice sort of thing. And it interests me to see exactly what we could do to have more availability to the public to come in and actually see some of these projects. Not just between me and you, but all the different various local artists. So many different interesting things that always happen here. Obviously, yours in particular stuck out to me right away because, as you'll see, your table is in the corner, and you have these rather large these canvases. And I personally think that if you have any time, you should come and take a look. Even if you're not in the market, let's say, for purchasing something right now, it still behooves you, I think, to come in and take a look. You get to see some of the artists, not only their craft, but what they do, how they do it, and sometimes ask questions if they have time. And this is totally unique to the Fall River area. And of course, it'd be nice to see, I think it's different cultural meeting areas around. It
is. We're
Dartmouth was one I've heard of so far, and of course FRACC, FRAC, which is the Fall River-based Art and Culture Council.
Yes, and the part that I'm really excited about is that Soco Art Labs is also extending their space to the youth as well, and that's in the collaboration with a gentleman in, I believe, in the city of Fall River, who's working with youth and trying to do the same thing. You know, that
like being able to give them a place to
give them a place where they have a voice and they can express themselves and beyond. And the cool thing about it is that they can interact with all the artists and get different perspectives
of all the
as
sure, yeah.
an artist. Exactly. So, and we can learn from them too.
That's true. This is true.
It goes back and forth, which is exciting for me.
I'm pretty sure I saw an actual infant holding a cell phone making a business call the other day. I could admit, I have no idea, but it's definitely a weird world out there for what I've seen is like a younger and younger high-level education list. And I don't know if you call it unfortunate, just natural, but there tends to be this weird shift where adults don't focus on, I don't want to call it generalities, but almost like common sense, like a lack thereof, compared to like a child can play with a supercomputer, which you really couldn't even have fit inside a room this big 50, 60 years ago, versus somebody having still a car accident, they don't even have auto driving set yet. That was supposed to be like 10 years ago. It kind of blows my mind that we had a real difficult time trying to get projects like this, get the public aware of them as easily as we used to, because unfortunately we started our podcast showing a bunch of nonsense. We were driving around in Newport, Rhode Island, and just because of the hashtag Newport being such a large hashtag, that's where we got like 1 million views on, literally, you couldn't even hear the audio. So we kind of got lucky. But what I'd like to see is something more specific, more project-driven, which this place I think can really, you can even have people come in and actually see, not just like a show per se.
Well, when I was working on my big piece, Searching from the Kingdom Within, there were people coming in and just observing, watching me paint, and it's
a show in and of itself.
Yes, it is. And what I enjoyed about that is, I think what we're lacking a lot of is that social interaction piece.
That's a very good point.
Without the technology.
This is true.
Getting to know that person, and it doesn't have to be in a super in-depth level, but just what makes that person tick. the curiosity of the mindset and the technique and so forth. I mean,
which you can get, I think, from some social media types, but it's not the same thing.
It's not the same.
It's not even close.
No, I don't think so. I think to foster really good communication and a really good insight of people, I think it's important to collaborate and have that social one-on-one, or even in a group setting in person. There's nothing mechanical about it. You're not being staged. You're not worrying about, do I look good, or, am I going to sound funny? You're just in that present moment, and that's what I loved. That for every brush stroke that I created on that canvas, I was me, and I didn't care if I was being judged or not. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And even the fact that I've been doing this for a very long time, I still amaze myself, because I think I figured myself out completely, and I really haven't. There's always something about me that's always changing, and I love that, because
Well, a lot of times I think that's true for a lot of artistic journeys with people that are creating art.
I would like to think so. I don't speak for myself.
I mean, it's unfortunate when someone either stops creating art or can't because they don't have the facilities to do so.
Sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's...
Some of them, didn't have the space.
Yeah, and sometimes it could be, what they're experiencing in their personal life
True.
that creates a blockage.
Yeah.
And what I love about this place at Soco Art Labs is that no matter what kind of day you're having, you're really coming home.
Yeah.
It's home, and you're accepted, and you are allowed to just be yourself, and you're not going to be judged in a way that it's going to hinder you. If anything, we embrace one another, and...
I can testify to that.
Yeah.
I've walked around here for several days and met not just an incredible palette of people and heard some really interesting and informative stories,
Yeah.
but just the fact that something like this, like you were just saying, even exists for somebody to, I don't want to say I was going to say describe themselves, but not quite the word, but show themselves through their art. I feel like that's major for people that may never see a museum or a gallery, something like that.
Exactly.
But at the same time, if you do feel like you might go down that route, this might be the perfect place for you to come and visit too. So
It is.
A lot of different things and potential of having.
A lot. And the growth is here, and it's just
Pretty accessible too. I mean,
Very.
there's a lot of areas in the Bristol County area that even if you were to drive maybe 20 minutes and come and visit, I feel like it would still be worth it. Even if you weren't coming to get a specific piece or something like that, you could come in just to see one of our gallery shows. It was awesome the other day.
And the lighting, the natural lighting that we get in this building is it's breathtaking.
Yeah, it is.
It's a must.
Yeah, that's why we picked this room.
It's a must as an artist.
Which the owners, and I have to thank them for allowing us to use the space. And of course, every single episode we'll be mentioning Soco Art Labs, which for those of you that don't know, because it's the first episode, it's South Coast Art Labs is what that stands for. And just so I can be very specific. And they're also affiliated with other art groups and cultural centers, not only in Fall River, Massachusetts, but in all the other different areas around as well. And that expansion could also grow.
Absolutely. So that's what's exciting, is that there's so many different directions that the safe haven allows us to go, and we're doing it together, and everything is possible here, really.
Yeah. Just in closing, because normally in our podcast, I'll normally cover a wide range of topics. But since we've somewhat shrunk in viewership, but we're also being a little bit more specific in what we're doing, today we'll kind of push away from a lot of the world happenings. But I will mention, is there anything about the movements of AI, war, or the past couple of years of all the weirdness that has affected your art in any way that you'd like to talk about? I
wouldn't even know if it has been, because to be honest with you, I'm not really in that whole technology thing, so I'm sticking to my path, and the way I look at it.
I'm surprised by that, by the way, because you have so many different like websites and social
Yes.
media. And from what I understand, you manage them yourself.
I do, but my webpage is the Rigos. Definitely the Rigos manage my page.
Okay, so that would be something
My
we can talk about
webpage.
later on as well.
Yes.
We will be having a podcast with the Rigos, that's the managers and owners of the Soco Art Labs, a little later on in the week, and very good friends of both of ours. Very nice to me as far as I know. And the reason I asked is because there's so many different things going on there. So like, even if you do just one thing in the past 4 years, out of all the different large events, I feel like you changed the world anyway. So I always try to bring that into the discussion. And of course, if there's anything that the fans would like to ask our guests personally, you can always message us through the comments, or you can go to any one of your awesome pages, I hope, and visit and ask some questions there. And of course, come and visit Soco Art Labs as soon as you can. But we'll be having many different events that you can come and choose from and visit, depending on what your style and like is. So thank you for having this interview.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And now we're going to take a look at your table you have at Soco Art Labs, Walker, Massachusetts, that you can come check out.
Awesome.
Okay, so this is Jay the usual. It's a weird chin. And we're walking through the actual Soco Art Labs, and we're going to find out what we have for actual art that we just talked about on the podcast. Oh, and if you want to sit in the presenter's seat, or if you want to pick a particular thing you want to show first and talk about. Oh.
So this was my big piece that I worked on when I first came in here. This is the 30 by 40 painting, Surging from the Kingdom Within. And this is the one that I want to auction off to the Epilepsy Foundation that I spoke about, and half of the proceeds from this painting will go to that organization. And as I stated, it's all in the works right now.
All right, and we'll post that information below.
Mm-hmm.
And how long did this?
2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
Is oil your preferred for?
It is. Oil for me is very calming. It also teaches me to be patient. I do experience a lot of anxieties, and I'm a perfectionist. And oils to me is very forgiving as well. So it's my therapy, actually. It's my favorite medium, but I also love sketches, and I do watercolors and acrylic. Sketching also I enjoy and love. But yeah, oils is my favorite.
Cool. Beautiful.
Thank you. This other piece I just sold. And this is, bear with me because it's still kind of wet. So I need to be very cautious with it.
Sure.
And I wasn't even done with this piece and it sold.
Really?
Right off the canvas. Yeah.
Now that's a story. How did that work?
It just so happened that the woman came in to set up her products, and she's an artist herself, and we just started talking, and we started talking about our journeys and what we've encountered, endured, and how we overcome, and the realization of all those epiphanies and where it's landed us in our journey. And she just felt that this was calling her out, and she's like, it's mine. So I said, okay.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
Is that something that's happened more than once? Like, especially with like this live event sort of thing?
This is my first time that anyone has really gone up to my canvas and said, my easel, and said, yes, I want that.
Oh, really?
That's my first time ever encountering that. Because like I said, I usually have commissions done or whatever is up on the walls, people will come and just claim it and take it from there.
Is it, I was going to say, is it something you're expecting more of? Especially because there
I'm
would
not
be
expecting anything. I'm just
smart
I'm
answer.
just enjoying.
I appreciate that.
I'm just enjoying what I'm creating, and I feel that whoever it's meant to actually captivate in their heartstrings.
That would be more my point is if because of all the different things I'll be doing, and I'm hoping I can help as much as possible. If we could expand the amount of awareness that there were for your art, would it still be possible for people to attain it is my question. Like, for instance, you would do a commercial copy.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Okay. That's cool.
Definitely.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm very flexible and I want everybody to enjoy art. And I know a lot of people are in different financial brackets, which is understandable, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't own a piece of art, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm flexible in that area as well, where I do payment plans and do the prints and whatever at a lower cost, but those that want the originals, they and I can work with them and take it from there.
Oh, very cool. Okay. All right, thank you.
And the colors of the eclipse is gorgeous. And I just figured with, I'm gonna paint something else in here that gives it dimension and 3D-like coming out. Jumping from realm to realm is all I have figured out. But again, it's a tribute to Mother Gaia. I love her. Mother Nature teaches me that no matter what the adversities she encounters, she always shows up better than before and stronger than before. And when I do Reiki with some of my clients, I always tell them, you know, your problems are actually working in your advantage. And I think that's what Mother Gaia has taught me, is that no matter how bad a storm can be, yeah, there's going to be devastations, but you can always rebuild yourself better than what you were before. And that's what I feel about my art. I've grown a lot and I'm still growing more. And that's what I love, is that I'm surrounded by all these artists that know other techniques and other ways of expressing, and I can learn from them just as much as they can learn from me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I love that. It's a gift. It's actually a gift to be surrounded by that much knowledge.
Beyond this piece actually just being generally intriguing and visually stunning, I actually had a chance to photograph my first solar eclipse this year.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't get the whole thing. It was very tough to get the lens, unfortunately, but we did get it, and it was so amazing to see. It really was.
Captivating. You should see the sunsets here. It's amazing.
I've been waiting to get one with the drone.
I'm telling you, it's amazing, the sunsets that we get here, and it's just like, wow. It's really a wow factor.
I'd like to film an event happening in the windows on one day if I have to, if it's not the same, and then have the drone spin up and check out the sunset at the same time.
That's beautiful.
Or we could do it reverse too. But when you create a canvas like this, do you have to publish it as well? Or is it, is there any form of something like that, especially when you go commercial?
I mean, it's the only thing that I've ever done is put watermarks on my work.
Okay,
really
so okay.
You know what I mean? I don't worry about somebody taking my stuff because, one, I have the original.
Yeah.
Two, it's all over my social media.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well,
It's
I mean,
like-
the reason I ask, because I come from a photography,
Yeah.
so I literally have to worry about every single image that I'm putting out, because there are people publishing books with AI based off of other people's work, stuff that they may not have really cared about, but if it was decent enough, you can monetize it. So it's always on my mind, but I just wasn't sure how that works with this sort of medium.
Well, I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's always a way around that. I mean, let's be truthful.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't worry about it because I post my stuff out there. I'm the original owner of it.
Yeah.
And if need be that it comes down to that I would have to argue that statement, go ahead. I got nothing to lose.
Hasn't happened before? No.
I don't. I mean, I don't have that time in my hands to worry about piracy.
Yeah.
Because we'll never get anything accomplished.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it's definitely like going against a flood sometimes. Yeah.
I have had somebody reach out to me that wanted the digital NFT of this.
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely not, because that is one of my goals down the path to have an NFT digital art.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. It's
That's actually good to know.
It's on my to-do list. So
yeah.
It's like I have everything digitalized already. So I have it in my archives and so forth. So that's where I'm at.
That's very cool. It's very interesting too that you're headed down the NFT realm eventually. Yeah. I've known quite a few people that have gone down that realm, are still in it, and have also been like in and out. Massive weird stories of failures and grandeur.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm not jumping in right away.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn it. I'm also talking to other people that are in it. I'm not one to jump into something just because the masses are following. I'm not that person. I like to watch from a distance and learn. You learn more in the shadows.
Listen up, folks. Listen up.
If you can believe that. And you just learn. You just learn, and then you'll know when it's time to execute that goal. I'm not in a massive hurry.
Do you have advice for anybody that's just starting now, whether it be in any of the mediums you work in or just as an artist in general?
I feel that you need to answer the calling that's within you.
Okay.
Because if you don't, you're always going to end up with that nagging emotion of woulda, shoulda, coulda, what if? And you have one life, live it. I mean, I was an artist for a very long time, even as a child, and I was denied to go to school that was strictly for the arts, and like I told my parents, now I'm claiming it all back.
This was almost stopped, folks. You believe this?
And I am now doing things on my own terms. And
you feel like that's important for somebody that's like really trying to get serious about their art?
I was stifled for years. I mean, as a child, it was hard for me to express myself because it was growing up. You know, you have these different standards, and then society has a whole other ball game of standards. So who the hell are you in all of this crap?
A good question.
You know what I mean? And so my thing was I had to be me in silence, and events in life, which were the adversities that I was facing, forced me to come out and be me, full front and center. And, I'm not looking to be accepted. I'm just wanting to be me. I mean, there are better artists out there than me. But the cool thing about it is somewhere along the line, I do have an audience. And whoever I'm meant to attract, vice versa, that's how it is. And I'm fine with it. I'm just focusing on creating and branching out. Also,
I was gonna say, you do publishing of not just paintings, but written work as well, right?
Yes, my books. So this is Worthiness. was published in 2017, Mascot Books, and this one is The Beauty of Naya, which is through Lulu. I decided to do that, and now I'm working on my third book, which is called Surging from the Kingdom Within.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so this is about fairies, Mother Earth, and the dragon named Seth, who's at crossroads, having to make a decision. Is he or is he not worthy? Gratitude, will it be enough to save Naya? The mystery of the highs and the lows, and the multicultural humanity having to come together with the mermaids to save the body of water, aka Naya.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, are these your first published written works? Really? Congratulations. That's awesome.
2017, and this one was published in spring.
It's super cool.
Of 2023.
What was what'd your process look like? Did you have to go through a lot to get to that finished point where you could have like a pile of books like that?
No, I wasn't planning on publishing anything.
Really?
I created this book because I had to make some serious decisions about my life, and I didn't want to be an adult.
Okay.
So I escaped into fantasy worlds, and that is what I do all day long. And so I was just creating, and then I know I'd go into nature with my hikes, and all of a sudden I'm just experiencing all these beautiful visions and looking and admiring the bottoms of the trees and how the weeds and the tree branches are intertwining, and all of a sudden my mind is just spinning into a story. So, I mean, it's
like a natural evolution, so to speak.
I would say that, and then it took me forever to do these images because they're ginormous, and I did it all with colored pencil.
Really?
And yeah, all colored pencil. Colored pencil.
Oh, that must have been quite the scribble.
Yes, yes. And then I just wrote it, and then I just put it aside, and I was like, okay, I'm done. But to my surprise, I was having trouble sleeping at night. And at a certain hour, between 1:30, 2:30 in the morning, I would be awoke with this always on my mind. Then finally, I just submitted everything that I needed to for Mascot Books, which was told to me by a person that I ran into at a restaurant who's published her stories. She told me to look into Mascot Books, and so I did. And well, the rest is history. Once I submitted everything, I totally forgot about it, didn't give a crap.
Really?
I'm done. I just need to sleep. I need to sleep because at the time I was working 3 jobs. I needed to sleep.
Living the dream, yeah.
Yeah. It was like, but then weeks later, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks later, I get an email from Mascot Books stating that they are interested in publishing me and this and that, and I'll never forget it. Once I connected with them and all that, I remember being on the Braga Bridge and my windows were down and I was screaming and just thanking God. Wow. Because I really didn't. I didn't think, who the hell's gonna want this? But ever since then, I've been interviewed, newspapers overseas as well as here in the United States.
Wow.
And I've been pushing my books through different platforms, radio stations, podcasts. So, I mean, I've been putting it out there and so forth. So I hope none of my efforts go in vain.
Awesome. Well, I mean, it sounds really awesome. I love the cover work so far.
Thank you.
And I'd love to see what's in between the beginning and end right there.
Oh, well, here you go. So this is Seth in a nutshell.
Oh, you all are getting a teaser. I didn't expect this. So
And
cool.
so it gives you a little bit about him and a little bit about me as the author.
That's cool.
And this is the beauty of Naya. Like I said, this was all done, pencil, colored pencil.
Wow.
And that's Naya. And so my grandkids are actually in this book. Yeah. And the Grim Reaper, Morfahad, which she's a happy Grim Reaper.
Your color scheme in this book is really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But to me personally, just because like that particular palette, I used to specialize in night photography and dark photography.
Yeah.
So those tones are like instantly where my mind goes, you know?
That's nice.
But thank you for sharing everything.
Thank you.
Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hopefully you had fun on the NFG podcast, which is usual.
I did. I thank you very much.
And maybe we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.